welcome back. Unless this is your first time here, I'm the Northwest Fisherman Chris, and today we're going to be cracking open the February 6 cents 6-sack. And I don't know what the deal is lately, but they've just kind of gotten later. So I only got this back on the 27th. This video I'll probably post the 3rd. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with that, but let's get cracking. Alright, throw our box up over there. Get our bag opened up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start this out. I like to do the hard baits that I can feel first. Okay, so our first one is the Duke 55, which is a lipless crankbait. This one is 3/8 of an ounce, and it is 59 millimeters long, even though it's called a 55. The color on this is going to be our chrome black back, which is like the classic. It's probably between chrome black back and chrome blue back. Those are very easily my two favorite lipless crankbait colors. Let's take a look at this guy. So this is a downsized version of the regular Duke. 59 millimeters long. Not really sure why they call it a 55, but sure, whatever. So of course, obviously by the name, we've got that wonderful black back and straight down into chrome sides. On our chrome sides there towards the top, it's got like a diamond plate texture to it. Kind of breaks up the light a little bit, and then we've got that smooth belly, which fades into a pearl white down here on the bottom. Nice red eye up at the front, a little bit of gill showing there, a little red slash. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up for us. And of course, it's got those super sticky little EWG black nickel hooks. As far as sound goes, let's give this thing a listen. It's got that very nice just rattle trap sound. Like when you're building a lipless, like I really feel there's 3 sounds that they can make. This one, which is your classic, lots of little BBs, maybe one big one in there, your classic rattle trap sound. A single knocker, which is just like one big heavy BB moving around in there, or silent, just going straight off the vibrations. With this little guy, I believe I said it was 3/8 of an ounce because it's light. Yeah, 3/8 of an ounce. You can fish this anywhere you want, really. This is going to be a fantastic bait this time of the year and all summer long. I really like throwing lipless, especially dirt shallow, and I like banging these off of rocks, kind of like you would treat a square bill. Plus you can get your yo-yo out of it. There's just so many ways that you can fish this. Alright, let's move on to that next bait. Okay, so our next bait is Movement 80X. This is going to be 5/8 of an ounce. This bait is 80 millimeters long, even though it's still called 80. And this guy dives 3 feet. The Movement 80, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this thing. The color on this is baby bass, which is pretty obvious that it's baby bass. So the Movement 80 and the Movement 70, they're kind of like a super shallow, it's not quite a topwater bait, but it's not really a diving bait because it doesn't dive that far. It's just, if you're in the right position to throw it, or you have bass feeding on the surface, Movement 80 is a great go. But most of the rest of the time, and they're not sent shallow like for pre-spawn, and they're not pushing up, and you're not going to be able to fish this along grass lines, the action on it's super wide. Like it's it is all over the place wide, which is nice, just not all of the time. Going off our colors here, we've got a dark emerald green back here, going down into a lighter green, and then into a yellow lateral line. And then of course we've got those bass black splashes on it, and finishing out with a nice white pearl underbelly. Big EWG style treble hooks. The hardware on this is amazing. The Movement 80, this isn't a bait that I'm totally in love with, but when the conditions are right, this is an absolute awesome bait to throw, because you can pause it and it'll float right up and then it'll go down. Like if you're fishing, let's say you're fishing like a foot to 4 feet of water, maybe even 5 or 6, this is a great bait, but you have to move it pretty quickly for it to get down to that depth. So realistically, I like to fish this in about 4 feet of water, super early pre-spawn, and the color pattern is perfect for that. Alright, let's grab our next bait. Ooh, Crush Mini 25 MD. So the Crush series baits, they're not square they're diving baits, but this Mini 25 MD is really cool. So this is a 1/4 ounce. It's 50 millimeters long. Ooh, little guy popped right out there. This is threadfin shad, and wow, these hooks are sharp, like sharp. It's like barely hooked into my finger. Threadfin shad. This guy's gonna dive down to 4 to 7 feet. Realistically, most of the time when you fish this, you're not gonna wanna. You're never gonna see, especially that 7 feet out of it, unless you're trolling it along grass lines, I guess. Better off situation is I kind of treat it like this. I like to fish it in like 6 feet of water and then kind of just slowly work it, or burn, pause, burn, pause, because it'll go down and it'll slowly float up. Because that's one thing that's nice about this is kind of more of a slow rise. Let's get to the color on this. So we've got a little bit of burnt root beer here on towards the nose, and then we're getting back into that emerald. And then coming down the side, we pick up a little bit of blue right through there before it transitions to the pearl, which continues down to the underbelly, but it's got this beautiful gold lateral line. I don't know if how well you're going to be able to see it, but it is there. Nice black dot for the marker, and even this tiny little guy, EWG style treble hooks. It's a great little bait, especially if you're fishing like little creeks, or I also like to fish it in rivers for smallmouth if it's not too deep, because the river's current, depending on how fast it is, will do the majority of the work for you, so you don't really have to put a lot of work into it. These are a great little bait, and I'll be honest, I lose these all the time, so I'm really happy to see one of these. And being a 1/4 ounce, this is your heavier side for your BFS, but you're going to want something lighter to throw this. I throw this on a 7-foot medium fast rod with the Shimano MGL. It's a super sweet lightweight combo, and you can just throw it out and use it. This is going to be really great coming, well, now, and as we move closer to our transitional periods. Oh, it feels like we have another hard bait. Okay, awesome, sweet. So this is a Provoke 106 SSD. So this is the deep diver, but it's also silent. 106 millimeters long, which I don't know if it's actually still 106 because it's got that longer bill. Either way, this guy here is going to be 4 to 7 feet, which depending on how you work it, it is suspending and is a deep diver, so I think realistically you can get 6 feet out of this unless you really come up with a convenient way to get it down before you start working it. Weighing in at 5/8 of an ounce, and this guy is also Ghost Threadfin Shad is the color on it. So a newer thing that Sixth Sense has started doing, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up because of the light, but the silent ones, it'll label silent anywhere on the body or suspending. For like your lipless cranks that you get from Sixth Sense that are suspending, it'll say it on there so you don't forget. Moving on to the colors, just like the the crushed Mini 25 MD. So we've got that root beer brown here going back into a nice dark green color, and then it's going to fade down quickly into basically non-existent blue, but you've got that beautiful gold lateral line with the black spot. And because this is a Ghost model, it's semi-transparent, so you're picking up a lot of that opaque effects going through the bait, and there is a little bit, there's a lot more color to it. There's a lot more reflectiveness in the side of this. That's not paint, that's internal. Of course, you've got a nice pearl white belly up here towards the front. It's a little bit pinker of the pearl, and you've got this nice yellow effect added here at the end. This is also outfitted with EWG style treble hooks, which are fantastic, and being silent, it is silent. And I completely forgot to give these two a shake. So here's the crush. Nice muted rattle, which is perfect for that bait. And then this has a nice big heavy knock. That's that single knock sound I was talking about earlier. I'm very happy with this Provoke Deep Diver. That's going to be a great bait here very, very soon, if not right now. I've still got some hard water problems up here, but hopefully it'll be over soon. You know what? Yeah. Ooh, we got some 3/0 spinnerbait trailer hooks, which is great news because that means there's probably a spinnerbait in here. So, yep, we'll just grab that spinnerbait out and we'll just talk about these all at the same time. Okay, yeah. So we have a half-ounce Divine Spinner in chartreuse and white. Yep, chartreuse flesh. We've got a nice big brass colored. Is the Northwest Fisherman smarter than the box? I guess we'll find out. Oh, come on. If you guys have been watching this channel long enough, you know that I like spinner baits a lot. So we've got a nice oversized brass blade, and then we've got a leading blade that's also a willow and nice silver. The finish on them is great. It's not like some sort of weird beat up unfinished product like you see on a lot of spinner baits. This one's got a hand-tied skirt, nice chartreuse and white, matching the head, and hidden inside here is a very important thing. So it has, I'm not going to be able to see it on camera, but right here there's a screw lock for your trailer. And I can only guess what our last piece in here is going to... It's not a trailer, that's weird. Huh. Anyway, we'll just talk about the trailer hook. So this time of year is the time of year that slow-rolled spinnerbait is absolute king. So let me grab... I know I've got I gotta have a swim bait handy. Here we go. Okay. So we'll throw this Lunker Hunt. What is this? Swim bento. These swim bait, they're alright. They're good enough for trailers. So we'll throw this on here real quick. Show you about that screw lock. Wow, this is a rigid bait. So when you get to that screw lock, you just twist and turn. And it pulls it right down on there where it's supposed to be. This is a very dense plastic. Okay. This isn't the perfect trailer for this, but it does a good enough job. And we'll go one more. The only thing you really have to worry about is when you're doing these screw locks is being mindful of that hook point so it doesn't tear up your swim bait. So then you end up with something that looks like that. And that bait is not coming off that screw lock. That's not happening. We'll go one more turn. So I want to show you guys that trailer hook. So these 6th Sense trailer hooks. Okay. Most of you have probably used a trailer hook, but the idea here is if the bass are still so lethargic that they're coming up or they're just grabbing the tail of your trailer, you just take this trailer hook and you put it on the back here. Makes the hook longer. Okay? What's really neat about these 6th Sense ones, and what a lot of companies are doing, is basically they took a piece of like, not shrink wrap, but like heat. Oh wow, why can't I think of it? Oh, it's what you put on wires. Anyway, it's just plastic. They heat it up and it shrank over the end of the hook, so you can just do this. So you just go push it through. Because that plastic is pretty thick, it goes right on there. It's not going to come off that barb. And bam, there you go. You're now up to a bait that's this long, and that hook's not sliding around wherever. It's just back there. Nice trailer hook. So you end up with something like this. This actually doesn't look that bad with that silly Lunker Hunt swim bento on it. That might be a use for these because they're not very big. With spinner baits, jigs and bladed jigs, anything that's a hooked body like this, I highly recommend always running a trailer, even if it's just like a piece of like a Senko or anything, just to put mass on that hook so that when the fish opens its mouth, it acts kind of like a vacuum. And the more mass you can put here, not weight, but just general mass, will make it easier for that fish to hook up with it. But that's a pretty long bait. And if they're slow, they're going to nail that trailer hook. That's fantastic. I love spinner baits. Alright, and last thing in the bag is our Divine Shaky Worms and Cosmic Black. I think we all know what a shaky worm is, but I'm still going to crack it open. Get one of these guys out and rig it up for you. Nice shaky worm. We're not going to point out things like that it looks kind of like a trick worm at all, but these things are super nice. They got a nice ribbing on the body, which you don't get on some other worms. But let's get this thing rigged up. I don't remember if this is a Divine Shaky Head hook or not, so I'm not going to kind of say. Oh, why am I doing this the hardest way possible? So another thing that will make your life a lot easier, especially when you're starting screw locks, is just cut the nose of that bait off so you have a flat surface, and then take your hook, go straight in, just like that, straight into the nose of the bait, and then this is harder to do to hold up for the camera. Then you just start it straight down on your screw lock. Keep going down. I like to go down as far as I can. I just do. Some guys don't go down all the way like that. I do. So then you're going to get back here. You're going to look at where that hook goes into it. And you're going to put that hook straight through right there. I like to go for the meatiest part of it. Pull it forward. And just expose that hook. Kind of like you would with a Texas rig. So you got your bulbous tail back here that's going to do all the floating. And when it's on the bottom, it's going to sit like this-ish. As you pull it and move it very slowly, the tail is going to give you all the action that you need. And these are super, super, super salty. So you don't have to worry about any kind of weird scent. But that's it for the February 6-sack. I'm pretty happy with this. However, I think this might actually be the second month in a row that I didn't get a exclusive color, which is kind of weird. Because I'm pretty sure, I know this is a factory color, this is a production color, this is a production color, so's this. I'm really, I know Cosmic Black and a lot of their baits is a production color. The Divine Shaky Worm, off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure on, but I'm willing to bet that it is. But that's kind of a letdown. But overall, I'm super happy with the box. Like, I'm never upset when I get a spinner or a jerkbait or a lure that I really like or something that's super versatile. The only thing in this that came in this that I'm not absolutely in love with is the Movement 80, and that's just my area. That's the way I fish here. So pre-spawn is coming. It's almost here. You southern boys are definitely, the bass are waking up, they're moving around, they're doing their thing. Us northern boys, we probably have another 3 weeks to a month, maybe 2 weeks, depending on where you're at. The guys in Washington will start waxing them here in a week, 2 weeks. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, pre-spawn is almost here, guys. Like, it's almost here. It's almost go time. Just till then, if you're going out on the water in your kayak or your boat or whatever, just make sure that you be mindful of the water and just be careful out there, guys. The weather's been kind of crazy. Watch your weather apps before you go out, all that good stuff. But anyway, just remember, FAFO, fish around and find out. Take care, guys.